Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is MD here, and I finally got to see Sonic Movie 3 on opening weekend, and wow, what an amazing experience. This review is going to go all in with spoilers because, honestly, there's no point holding back, and I want to say everything I have in mind. If you haven't seen it yet, proceed at your own risk. Alright, let's talk about this epic movie. I've been hyped for this movie ever since it was announced. And man, the journey leading up to Sonic Movie 3 has been incredible. Going in, I had big expectations. I wanted to see in Sonic 3 a faithful adaptation to Shadow's story, loads of Sonic references, and of course, I wanted to see tons of insane action scenes. And let me tell you, this movie locked in. It had everything you could hope for and more. The tone of this movie was serious, but it still had those light-hearted, funny moments that, made me laugh out loud. Knuckles cracked me up the most. What stood out immediately was like how focused the plot was. Unlike the first two movies, where things get sidetracked with subplots or fillers, but Sonic Movie 3 stayed on track from start to finish, keeping everything moving along nicely. The movie started off strong. Immediately starts with Shadow's escape from Prison Island, and already things start to like get heat up, and then it cuts to Team Sonic, and they learn about Shadow. They head to Tokyo, and right off the bat, we get that epic showdown. The pacing is quick, but doesn't feel rushed, and the way it flips between Sonic's side and Shadow's side is like in Sonic Adventure 2. Everything flowed naturally and felt cohesive between Team Sonic and Team Shadow slash Eggman sides. What I really appreciated was like how every character had something important to do. Going in, watching Sonic Movie 3, I was a bit worried that Tails and Knuckles would feel sidelined, but no, they all contributed to the story, as well as Tom and Maddie. Sure, characters like Agent Stone had less screen time, especially after Eggman meets Gerald, but it never felt like anyone was completely forgotten. Everyone had their moments and it felt balanced. Alright, let's discuss about our boy Sonic here. I loved Sonic. He's still his usual and energetic pop culture self, but in this movie he was like much more darker. Like we saw a more darker, more intense side of him, especially when he argued with Knuckles about using the Master Emerald and betraying Tails and Knuckles. That moment when he just pinned down Shadow and was just about to kill him, like he almost went too far. It was wild to see Sonic just be consumed by anger. Like it's a side you don't see of him, but it made sense for his character development. He's come a long way since the first movie. This time Sonic had to learn about responsibility and making the right choice and working as a team. It was such a great progression for him, and I loved seeing him mature while still throwing out hilarious pop culture references like Hello Kitty, Godzilla, and he even said the line from SA2 about the budget flights, no food or movies, I'm out of here. He said that line, and I was like, I understood that reference, and it's amazing. You love to see it. This movie had like so much heart, effort, and care into this movie, and just watching this movie was just made for Sonic fans, packed with tons of references. Speaking of references, this movie was packed with them. From callbacks, there was like callbacks to the first two Sonic movies, like the Eggman Exact line. I mean, the adults in my theater just laughed at the joke, and Knuckles saying 1,000,000% muscle, the moment, was a nice callback to Sonic 2. And then, of course, there were like the franchise Easter eggs, like the Chow Garden, Shadow's motorcycle, and even like the birthday party from Sonic Generations. And we gotta talk about the opening uh, between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and also the ending as well. Just seeing them race, it just reminded me of like Sonic Car. And I just love like the sibling team dynamic between these three. I just loved it. It's wholesome, funny, and it gives off, that strong family, fond family vibes. All right, Eggman. Jim Carrey absolutely killed it as Eggman, and seeing him, uh, he's seen him double as like play as Gerald Robotnik was like pleasant surprise. There was even like this funny fourth wall breaking joke about him playing both roles. Just referencing like, oh, this one actor playing two characters. That was cool. That was funny. But one thing going into like Sonic Movie 3, we're just kind of wondering like, how is Gerald alive? And Gerald being alive, just finding out that he's just 110 years old, and I was like, what? I mean, okay, sure. I mean, I guess it makes sense. The guy had way too much energy for the age, especially like, during that laser dance scene. Like, for a 110-year-old, like, you're in good shape. His inclusion was like definitely fascinating, especially since like we rarely see him like in Sonic Media in general, and it was just kind of like kind of interesting to see like in this movie he's like one of the main important characters. Of course he dies in a pretty funny way, which I guess makes sense, since his part of the story is tied directly to like SA2. It is an adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2, and there's no point keeping him around after that. Eggman's character arc also felt like it wrapped up here. His final moments, especially the heartfelt announcement he made at the end, it was definitely sad. Like he made an announcement about Agent Stone, and it kind of hit hard. Like it was definitely like touching, the way he acknowledged Stone's like loyalty and care, and just was just absolutely bittersweet. He kind of like didn't care about him, but then at the very end, like he realized that Stone did care, and yeah, it was. I mean, it was cool that they made the Eggman announcement, but like, it was like sad. It was like really sad seeing it. But yeah, it looks like Eggman is gone for good. Like after just seeing that explosion. But who knows? If Shadow survived, maybe Eggman did too. And alright, let's talk about Shadow. I loved Shadow in this movie. They nailed his character. His backstory with Maria was heartbreaking, and the flashbacks were so emotional. It honestly made me cry. You could really feel his pain and understand why he's angry. The movie did a great job capturing the pain of Shadow to showcase the reason why he's angry and out for revenge. And it's important to highlight the importance of Maria to Shadow and to make us like understand the pain he's going through, and the movie nailed it. The movie captured Shadow's trauma perfectly, showing that he's not just like dangerous, he's broken. Maria and Shadow scenes were some of the most touching moments in the film. Shadow was this grumpy hedgehog and was seen as this monster, but Maria accepted him for who he is. Watching their bond made her death even more heartbreaking. They had to tone it down for her death since the movie is PG. Maria died caused by explosion, then getting directly shocked, but the impact was still there. Shadow's journey of like anger, revenge, and eventual redemption was like all handled perfectly well in this movie. Like it was good. And his connection with Sonic, like on the moon, made some of the best. It was like that was like a really emotional scene. Like throughout the movie, like I just felt so bad for Shadow. He was just sad and hopeless, and you could tell he needed someone to talk to. Before moving on, there was like this reference to like about Shadow and Latinas. It was like a subtle and indirect reference about like Shadow likes Latinas, but for people who get it, have understood the reference, and it was pretty cool that they included that. Shadow was like a weapon for Eggman and Gerald, and was just like following like their plans, but deep down, like Shadow like questioned his choices and even was like relating to himself to Sonic when he saw Tom got hurt. As watching, it was like evident that he's just broken. And again, you just feel so bad for Shadow. In fact, Shadow's character feels like a bad future version of Sonic. And what I mean is Sonic lost Longclaw, as a child in Sonic Movie 1, but was able to move on and find a family. Shadow was the opposite. He lost Maria and wasn't able to move on and became, a dark self of himself. So it's like while Sonic and Shadow may look like each other, they're also relatable. One of my favorite emotional moments in the movie was when Sonic and Shadow were on the moon and they both talked about their pain and hardships, and it was just so sad. But after Sonic telling Shadow like how important it is to listen to your heart and make the right choice, is what brought a bright light into Shadow. It was a bittersweet moment between Sonic and Shadow, talking it out, and it made sense for Sonic to be the one to make Shadow come to his senses because both of them have dealt with losses, who had important people in their lives. All right, time to talk about the best part of the movie and my favorite part of the movie, that third act. Holy crap! Like, where do I start? Like, after Sonic argues with Knuckles and just seeing Sonic grab the Master Emerald and going supersonic was like so hype. But then like Shadow just knocks the emeralds out of supersonic. I was like, what? Like that just blew my mind. Like he just knocks the emeralds out of supersonic. And then like this moment was crazy. Like it was truly unforgettable. Just seeing Super Shadow on the screen and just being able to react to that, like seeing Super Shadow was just a priceless moment. And like it's kind of crazy to like finally have him back in such an epic and amazing way. The Supersonic and versus Super Shadow fight, holy crap, man! That part absolutely mind blowing. Like Super Form battle went stupid crazy. I tell you, I was losing my mind because like that part was just absolute peak. But it gets better. Like after Sonic and Shadow team up, they like instantly transform. Like it's Dragon Ball. And I was like holy crap, man! Like this is just absolute hype. Like I was completely losing it. Just seeing that scene. Like I was literally going insane of how cool seeing Supersonic and Super Shadow team up, and then hearing Live and Learn play was just perfect. It was just hype. I was actually like surprised to hear the game version of Live and Learn. I didn't think they would do it because like my expectations for Sonic music in the films were like low, but I was surprised, and it was like so hype hearing Live and Learn and seeing Supersonic and Super Shadow team up. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of epic moments in movies, but this right here in Sonic 3 was by far the craziest thing I've ever seen. They even did like the cross shot with their super forms, and I just lost my mind. Like that was so crazy. It was just a peak moment right there, and definitely by far the best shot in the movie. All right, post credits. The post credits scene got me so hyped for what's to come next. Like Amy is finally here, and I couldn't believe it when they revealed her. And plus, like Metal Sonic as the next villain, I'm all in. I'm so excited. I can't wait. It looks like they're going to do for Sonic Movie 4. They're going to do a Sonic CD slash Sonic Heroes adaptation, and I can't wait. I can't wait for Sonic Movie 4. Also, Shadow's post credit scene tease makes me think that we might get a spin-off series or movie for him, which would be amazing. Shadow's character has so much potential, and I would love to see them explore his story even more. But 100% there's going to be a Shadow spin-off, because if Knuckles can get his own spin-off, then without a doubt Shadow could get his own. And I'm sure we will hear more about Shadow's future sooner rather than later. Alright, to conclude, Sonic Movie 3 is an absolute masterpiece. It's the best in the trilogy and one of my favorite movies ever. The movie had heart, love, care into crafting this movie. This movie was just so fun to watch. They nailed everything character development to the action scenes, the animation, and all the cool Easter eggs and the emotional moments. Like, this movie had everything I could have hoped for and more. I loved Sonic Movie 3, and I'm so excited for the future for the movie universe. And yeah, this will do it from my review on Sonic Movie 3. Let me know your thoughts on Sonic Movie 3 if you have seen the film down in the comment section below. Alright, this will do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.